Hi everybody, welcome back to Psycho Pizza Party. I'm Mark Bessenger.
I'm Vito Trabucco.
And we're really excited to be bringing another episode to you guys. Hope you enjoyed the last one or ones so far. Vito, what's been going on with you?
Nothing new. I've just been catching up on old movies, not seeing anything new, which I want to see so much. You know, like new Lights Out is coming out, all these movies coming out. I wanted to catch up. And I was catching up on old stuff, and I watched the other day. I wanted to ask you. I was waiting to do this. I was watching Wild Orchid. Remember that, the Mickey Rourke movie where they think he had sex with the girl?
Yeah.
And I was watching that scene, trying to think if they were really doing it or not. I really don't care. But what do you think about that? What would you do if you were filming and you had your two actors and they start really going at it? Are you gonna let it go, or I'd probably let it go?
Sure, why not? I mean, it's like if that's what it takes to get a performance out of it.
I agree, and it gave the movie a little bit of notoriety or some kind of mystique to it.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing. I mean, actors, aren't stupid, and they know cameras are rolling, and they know people are watching, and they know what they're doing is they know it's going to get out. So if they didn't want to do it, they wouldn't.
Right, they wouldn't have done it. Yeah.
So
also heard that was the case in. I found out later. It was a pretty intense scene. Was Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland.
Yeah.
That I heard. I don't want to say who told me, but someone was telling me that they were talking to the editor of that, and I guess some of the raw cuts of that were like pretty hardcore. So
yeah, that was pretty. That had pretty.
Yeah, that was pretty.
That movie kind of initially had a reputation because of that.
Yeah, no, it was definitely an interesting one. So I'll say that.
Sex in horror movies. Well, that's interesting. Why do so many horror movies have sex scenes?
Oh, we were talking. It was another thing I wanted to bring up.
It's another thing. It's almost like if you have a horror movie these days and it doesn't have a sex scene, everyone's like, "Well, where is it?"
Anything. So let's talk about, and maybe that stems from what they say makes a horror movie: the 3 Bs: blood, boobs, beast. You need them all, and beast being whatever your killer is, or effects. It needs to be. I think it needs to be an effects-driven movie. Boobs are kind of cool. I don't, wherever you're at with it. It's just, I think it's like, I remember seeing a bunch of us went to the theater to watch a few years back when we watched the My Bloody Valentine remake on 3D. And the moment the girl came out naked yelling at her boyfriend, the place was going crazy. And I was like, because it was just, you're making fun of like, the 3 Bs or whatever it is. And I do think it's important. As goofy as it is, I think you do need it.
Well, yeah. I'm going to take the lofty route and say that it's because when you're having sex and you're naked and you're vulnerable, then that's if the horror happens that it plays into the horror thing. I think that's why the shower scene in Psycho was so horrific, because you're naked, you're vulnerable, and someone comes in with a knife and kills you. It's the same thing with sex. But nowadays, let's be honest, it's about titillation, it's about
your viewer.
Thrills, it's about a bunch of horny 12-year-old horror boys.
But I think the elements are important, and to me it's like tons of blood in a movie, It's like some people are like, you need all that blood, you need all those. Yeah, I think you do when you're. That you don't have to, but when you're in that genre and you're really going for it, I think it's the case. So
depends on the movie. I mean, look at Blair Witch Project. That had no blood in it. It was a huge success.
Wouldn't hurt, but yeah,
about money and stuff.
Yeah, true. But that goes to what we're doing today, though.
Yeah, our pizza today is Totino's pizza rolls. We're kind of like fudging a little bit, but it's still technically pizza. So that's our pizza for today.
That's right. Good call. On a show on a budget.
And our special guest today is someone really exciting. He worked with me on my film Bite Marks. He did a lot of the makeup effects and was head of the special effects makeup department. So I'm very, very happy and pleased to present Travis Pates.
Hey!
Good
morning,
coming,
everybody.
Travis.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome to be
Thank
here.
you.
Yeah, we had some fun already.
Yeah,
Lots of good
don't roll those
stories.
cameras yet.
Travis, what have you been working on lately?
Well, right now we just finished Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. So I have to keep some of those secrets. Secret. Which was actually probably one of the most incredible film experiences that I've had, with the amount of makeups, the amount of the process that it took to create these characters. And we had amazing artists. We had the Legacy team with us, which was an incredible special makeup effects team, doing a lot of the heavy prosthetics. And then I worked with John Blake, who's one of the larger department heads of makeup out here. And that being with him and seeing that organization of that machine rolling was pretty awesome.
Oh wow! How long were you on there for?
Oh, what was like 5 months, 4 months. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's
And
great.
you did Captain America: Winter
Yeah,
Soldier.
I got to work with him I started with him on Captain America. I live in Georgia now, so we get a lot of really interesting and fun projects out there. Really big ones, to actually say it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have a lot of space, a lot of new territory, a lot of cool land, and a lot of beautiful scenery out there. Captain America was really fun. It was really hot. We're running around chasing people, chasing sweat, and watching the Vision drip a little bit. It's kind of like gonna come after and start blotting people and stuff. It was pretty awesome.
How different is it? Is it working in Georgia opposed to LA?
The heat and humidity. As a makeup artist, it's when you're dealing with prosthetics and you're dealing with special makeup effects, you have to think about what products and what tools can we use to get the same job, make it effective with less mess. That's the point, is that you don't want to have to waste time touching people up and and you want to start the process, get the process rolling and go out there, but in the humidity you realize that you can't use things like gelatin because it starts to slip off the face and it'll start to melt. And under foam prosthetics, the sweat builds up, and just one little open can cause all of that water to just drip down the face. So, I think the heat to me is one of the things that I had to really think about when I've designed a character and think about the type of makeup that I'm using, because it's got to be waterproof. So everything has to be waterproof pretty much.
Have you ever had any makeup malfunctions that you can talk about?
Yeah, I'll share a couple. So first one, and this is 2009. I'm in Georgia in Atlanta. It's 102 outside, and we're shooting this silly movie for the Farley brothers called The Three Stooges. So character Jennifer Hudson, she plays a nun in the movie, but at the point that we actually see her for the first time on the screen, and actually my first time on the makeup with her, is an aging makeup. So in my head, I'm thinking the humidity, it's going to cause her skin to look a little discolored with the products that we use. So I was thinking, what can I use? So I used a product called Adagel, which is there's a sealer, and when you mix it with the sealer, it's a really good thing to use for a stretch and stipple, which is how we create an aging makeup. But it's a plastic. It's not a latex. It's a plastic, actually. It's done so you can put regular makeup on top of it. It's a whole easy process. So I thought, this might be perfect. I can get a really beautiful, translucent aging makeup on her. So of course I'm doing the mouth, because that's really, you realize, on darker complected people, they don't have the same wrinkles as light skin, and they have a different texture. So it's really smooth. And so I'm doing the makeup application, and I got these beautiful jowls going, and I got these beautiful line work, and it's so tight. And so I was so proud of this makeup. I'm like, this is fucking looking bitchin', yeah. And she goes out to set, and they're starting to have her in the scene. She's singing, "This Little Light Is Mine." And she's like, "This little light is mine." And I'm looking, and that makeup starts to flap. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? "This little light is mine." And she's getting into it, and she's just singing it. I'm looking at all of the skin I put on her like this. I'm like, oh my God. And as soon as they say cut, I'm like, I have 4 seconds to run in there and fix this right now, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Luckily, I had eyelash glue in my bag. I took the eyelash glue. I ran out there. I'm like, make a smile. Go like that. Make all these faces. And then she went and she's like, "This little light is mine." And it was flawless.
Did anyone notice the first
Nobody
time?
ever
Oh,
noticed?
that's right.
No, but I'm behind the monitor going, oh my God. And that's just makeup art. It's just it's when you put the actor in the chair and we spend the time with them, and we're trying to if you don't have a good time to do a test, or you got to do a couple of tests, and if you don't have time to do that many tests, it's kind of like, oh my God, what do I do now? Luckily, later on, a friend of mine, Bill Johnson, came in to help me out. That way, in case, something happened with his makeup, so both of us could jump in real quick and do it. And it was a beautiful aging makeup when we finally got the really good close-up of it, But seeing behind the camera, you look at your stuff and you're like, oh my God, I just spent 3 hours on that edge. Why is that edge coming down? What did I do wrong? And you're blaming everything else. But it's the humidity. It's the moisture. It's, people who don't think about that at first, one more. This is a kind of odd story. So, cut back. We're in the early 90s, and I'm coming out of makeup school, and I really started to dive into these small independent movies, and USC, AFI, Loyola Marymount, they were hiring me to do these little projects, and there was this one about an angel of death, and it was one of the last movies I think Zelda Rubinstein was in. Everybody knows who that is, the little poltergeist mother.
This
the little
house
lady.
is clean.
This house is clear. So, character plays an angel of death, and he's a Hispanic boy, really thin, really high cheekbones, and a bald head. So to me, in my eyes as a makeup artist, I'm like, awesome, we can make him skeletal, make him creepy, yada, yada, yada. He'll have a cool costume. No, he didn't have a cool costume. He had no costume. As a matter of fact, the director's like, we need to cover his penis. I'm like, why? And his penis was pretty big. So, so I was just thinking to myself, okay, this is my first time having to be put in a situation.
Oh, this is the first
first time I'm
situation.
seeing a naked person as a makeup artist. So I got to think about how the hell am I going to do this and not look creepy. And so of course, poor kid was so open to doing whatever I needed and so nice. I was the one more stressed out about this, So I'm trimming up the bush and getting it ready, and then I create this latex kind of diaper thing that I stipple out on a table, latex, and I form it.
So he was full. Like, you had to
Completely,
shave him.
I had to
so
shave. Yeah,
because
he was like
pushed out.
Bushed out.
It was like kidney operation.
Yeah.
Kind of shading. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like a weed whacker and fucking. So, anyways, I go in. Sorry, kid. Sorry, that was 20 years ago. No. Anyways, so I go in and I duct tape him back. I'm thinking like the old, when a person does drag or whatever, something. You got to tape it back, and that way it's a smooth surface.
Right.
And I put the diaper thing on it, and I blend out all the edges, and I paint them blue, and it's like a 5.5 hour makeup. I'm so excited, like yes. And so he gets out and he comes to set, and all of a sudden he's like, "Gotta go to the bathroom." And I'm like, "Oh my god, how do I do that?" I mean, I just spent like 3 hours blending your edges with like Bondo, which is like a heavy acrylic thickening paste, and it took me hours to dry it. And I was like freaking. He's like, "But I really got to go to the bathroom, and it's not like that." And I was like, "Oh my god!" So I had to rip the whole thing off and start all over again.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So we have moments like that. Like the most important thing is, you have to learn as an artist and the actor, how to work together. What if you are the kind of person that has to run to the John constantly? You have to realize things have to be accessible, like your hands. I have one more on my first big TV show I got to play on was on Star Trek, and it was an Enterprise TV show. And it's like, many years ago, and one that they gave me this character to do for Star Trek, and they're like, "Here, you want to piece this guy together?" And they gave me all these old foam appliances, and so I was really excited. I got to do my thing, and then they wanted crab claws on the guy. He had big crab claws. So I'm thinking, I just recently in doing this, and so I want to make a really good impression because this is my first union big show, and so I'm stippling and making sure every little edge with my magnifying glass looks amazing. And then he gets these crab claws, and again he's like, "What am I supposed to do when I go to the bathroom? Because I can't open my pants." And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to have to walk with you." So I was on him all day. So I had to literally walk with him.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Yeah,
That's great.
It is. In our life, is people like, "Well, what do makeup artists do? You guys sit around all day on the set." I'm like, "You have no idea what it takes for us to get these people ready, and what we have to go through to get them to deconstruct that makeup after. That's a heavy thing."
Oh.
Yeah, but those are good times, man.
Not to mention, is a bathroom chores built in.
Bathroom chores are built in.
So you've worked with a lot of big people. Is there anyone that kind of stands out as far as like they were just great to put makeup on? They never complained. They were.
I will say this: people always want to know like certain things about actors. For me, I always find that when I come into a set to do something, if the person is like really all about the character and really open to suggestions or open to that creative process, then for me it makes the whole entire makeup so much easier. And especially like as a makeup artist, when you sit in our chair, get off your phone, put your phone down.
Right.
I mean, you have from 8:30 to 9 o'clock to be in the chair for the makeup, and then you have another 15 or 20 minutes or however long you need for the hair. So in that block of time, it's like just as long as they learn to, put the phone down for a moment. Because some people come in at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's like they'll wait outside, and finally they'll come in. As soon as they sit in your chair, it's like, "Let me get on the phone, let me see what I'm doing." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, "I've got to get you down in 15 minutes, No, I've been really fortunate in my life to have some really fun projects where everybody goes into it knowing that we're going to do this. This is going to be good, so.
Is there a lot of differences besides obviously paychecks? Is there a lot of big differences between the indie films that you've done to the bigger projects? Have you noticed any?
Well, yeah, the organization level. It seems to be that, I think a lot of times, and I could be wrong, but in my personal experience, a lot of times in indie film, the passion is so strong, but the organization is so not there, because everyone's like, "They're shy and they want to sit down about this, and let's put that lighting over there so we cascade it like this," and everyone gets into the whole entire ambiance, as opposed to the actual character, if that makes sense. That's how I feel sometimes. Like, it's all about everything else. Like, that's the minor part. But when you're, working in a union movie, it's like you have to really think about your lighting and think about the preciseness of what you're doing, and it has to be on point consistently. not that it's not in independent horror, but I know I can sit there if I need to do a vampire, like I was working in the market. He gave me the ability to do my job. That to me, and that's the passion behind an indie film, is that they a lot of times they give you that time if you need it, because they come in not knowing what you need, and as long as you're not being if you're being mindful of that time, then you're allowed that. And Mark gave me plenty of time to do these prosthetics, and I actually got a chance to actually really paint these bodies and get a little bit of detail into
Yeah, and they look great.
And it
too.
was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
really fun, and that was awesome for that. So that to me is the big difference.
Well, a lot of times with independent film too, it's like that. I mean, yes, there's writing and acting, performance, but you also know that, like in an independent horror film, a lot of times if there's makeup effects, it's going to be the star of the show.
Yeah,
So you make sure your makeup guy has all the
Yeah.
time he needs, and to get it done, exactly right.
That's a good point too. On indie films, they almost are like a star. You know,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's awesome.